man, welcome to Fun Fact Trivia. Today we are heading back in time to test your knowledge of the swinging 60s. Let's go. Who was the closing act at Woodstock in 1969? Jimi Hendrix, Grateful Dead, or the Rolling Stones? Jimi Hendrix. Who delivered the famous "I Have a Dream" speech in 1963? Ronald Reagan, Martin Luther King Jr., or Gloria Steinem? Martin Luther King Jr. Who famously sang "Happy Birthday" to President John F. Kennedy in 1962? Elvis Presley, Roy Orbison, or Marilyn Monroe? Marilyn Monroe. In 1965, South African surgeon Dr. Christiaan Barnard performed the world's first transplant of which organ? Liver, bladder, or heart? Heart. In 1968, the spy ship USS Pueblo was captured by which country? Japan, North Korea, or Germany? North Korea. Who played Dr. Zhivago in the 1967 movie? Omar Sharif, Clint Eastwood, or Richard Burton? Omar Sharif. Which famous artist was shot and wounded by Valeria Solanas in 1968? Edward Hopper, Jackson Pollock, or Andy Warhol? Andy Warhol. In 1969, the precursor to the Internet was created with what name? Algol 60, Z1, or ARPANET? ARPANET. The 1962 Cuban Missile Crisis was a military standoff between the USA and which other nation? Mexico, the Soviet Union, or Canada? The Soviet Union. In 1964, Japan debuted the Zero Series Shinkansen bullet train. What was its maximum speed? 210 kilometers per hour. Nights in White Satin was a 1967 hit for which group? Jethro Tull, the Hollies, or the Moody Blues? The Moody Blues. Which Renaissance city was severely flooded in November 1966? Florence, Venice, or Lucerne? Florence. Which Soviet leader seized control from Khrushchev in 1964? Leonid Brezhnev, Yuri Andropov, or Konstantin Chernenko? Leonid Brezhnev. In 1965, Gambia achieved independence from which country? Portugal, Britain, or Denmark? Britain. Who did Bobby Darin marry in 1960? Sally Field, Patty Duke, or Sandra Dee? Sandra Dee. American poet Allen Ginsberg is credited with inventing which 60s phrase? Neato, flower power, or gimme some skin? Flower power. What was the name of the U.S. Air Force's 1960s report that concluded there was no such thing as extraterrestrial UFOs? Project Blue Book. Which European river had 40 million fish killed by insecticide in 1969? Volga, Rhine, or Danube? The Rhine. Who played Agent James Bond in the 1967 movie Casino Royale? George Lazenby, David Niven, or Peter Sellers? David Niven. What is the name of Barbie's younger sister, introduced to the world in 1964? Skipper, Karen, or Debbie? Skipper. Which 1961 film won 10 Academy Awards? West Side Story, Breakfast at Tiffany's, or The Great Escape? West Side Story. What was Brazil's capital prior to 1960? Salvador, Rio de Janeiro, or São Paulo? Rio de Janeiro. Which fashion style became popularized by designer Mary Quant in the 1960s? Flared jeans, miniskirt, or peacoat? Miniskirt. What type of music genre, originating in Jamaica, gained international popularity in the 1960s? Reggae, rockabilly, or disco? Reggae. What popular science fiction television show, featuring Captain Kirk and Mr. Spock, aired in 1966? Star Trek, Doctor Who, or The Twilight Zone? Star Trek. What popular fast food item was introduced by McDonald's in 1968? Whopper, Big Mac, or McNuggets? Big Mac. Which team won the first Super Bowl in 1967? Kansas City Chiefs, Dallas Cowboys, or Green Bay Packers? Green Bay Packers. Which popular board game, featuring Cavity Sam, was first sold in 1965? Monopoly, The Game of Life, or Operation? Operation. Which author's novel, To Kill a Mockingbird, won a Pulitzer Prize in 1961? J.D. Salinger, Harper Lee, or Truman Capote? Harper Lee. Which famous diet plan was published in 1963, starting a global trend? Weight Watchers, Slim Fast, or South Beach Diet? Weight Watchers. Thank you for playing. Hope to catch you in the next quiz. Bye for now.